They had paid for his jet to fly down to bring his pilot, co-pilot, his ghostwriter who was writing his autobiography, his administrator who takes care of all the hotel rooms and arrangements and all that, and the pastor set me up to go pick him up at the airport and take him to dinner. Well, I was honored. I didn't know, but the pastor was having me set up too. And I'm supposed to be getting chewed out by Dr. Lester Summerall. We had dinner. We got up the next morning and had breakfast. We went to the meeting, and after the services, we went to breakfast again, and everybody came, the elders of the church, including the couple that was sitting over there by themselves, and all the pilots and everybody else, and all of a sudden the lady says, well, you know, we're going to be going to Israel. I'm Jewish. My husband's Jewish. We're going to Israel. We're going to be, you know, celebrating the Feast of the Tabernacles. And she's just going on, and all of a sudden Lester Summerall just barks at her. I mean, chews her head off. I'm thinking, man, I was there when they paid your gas bill. It's $1,183 to fuel that jet just coming down from South Bend. They paid for all the hotel rooms. They put the offering in the plate for you to be able to come. They made an agreement how much they were going to give to support the missions that he's always raising money for, or was. And I thought, how can a man do that? You know, he's no slave to anybody. He didn't care. Well, I found out later that they had hired him basically to come do that. Well, what happened? I was asked to go pick him up, take him to the airport. And so we're sitting out in this car that they have at the airport to shuttle people around, that I picked him up in, and he said, what can I do for you, son? And I said, well, you know, I remember reading in your book where you sat under the teachings of Smith Wigglesworth back in the war, and he laid hands on you and blessed you and gave you the gift of faith through the prophecy. And he said, yeah, he did that. He says, what can I do for you? I said, I need you to lay hands on me. And he did. He said, now I've got something I need you to do for me. I said, okay. He says, I need a word from God. He said, I'm headed from here going straight to New Orleans, and I have to make a decision whether to keep Jimmy Swaggart on our television station or not, because he owns Little C Broadcasting, or did. His sons do now. Well, you know, I'm just a little old peanut here. You know, he's a massive man of God. I'm supposed to give him a word of what to do, and it's going to affect Jimmy Swaggart. You know, what is this? So, you know, I just pulled a rabbit out of the hat, man. I didn't know where to go with this. I just said, well, God will give you a sign. That was safe. He said, all right, I'll take that. Well, later on that day, I got a phone call, or the pastor did. The pastor called me, said, get on the phone here. And I got on the phone. It was the pilot. He said, I just was told by Dr. Summerall to call you and let you know he got a sign. I said, oh? He said, yeah, we were flying in toward Louisiana, and we're making approach to New Orleans, and we were called off the flight pattern because there was a tropical storm brewing out in the Gulf, and they called us off to go land in Houston. So he took it as a sign. And that made his decision right there. So, fortunately, God's grace ruled in that situation. My point is, God will defend you in whatever you're called to do. You don't have to defend yourself. I could go on with all kinds of stories like that, but, you know, you really want to know more about yourself tonight than me, and I understand that. But I sometimes feel the need to let you know a little bit about where we come from and what we've been through, and how much we know what we preach we've lived.